Hey Rudd, hey Michelle and I here for video day of how to set up the SV Bony 70 onto a Skywatcher HEQ5. We've got lots to show you, and my videographer here will be taking the helm here shortly. So stay tuned. I am going to show you right now what's all involved. So I'll turn the camera around. All right, so here is the camera bag, and which you might want to get to hold all of your stuff. That's all Astro stuff. I've got the SV Bony 50370 ED, and then that little guy right there is the reducer. I'll show you how to put that on. On the back of it comes a cap, but you can put an eyepiece on there too if you want to watch. We have the Jackery battery, and then the Skywatcher HEQ5. And mount, it has just one of the weights on it, which is plenty. And there you go. So hang on, stay tuned. Hey Rudd, all right, it's time to video. As you can see down here, all of this stuff is everything that's going to go on the camera, except for these guys, which you're going to need to get for nighttime, see, night vision, so you don't blow out your eyes. Anyway, we'll turn that off, put those aside. This is a great one, Apertura. You can find that at any local shop. This is an extra one in case this one dies. Okay, so we'll put those aside. All right, to the telescope. I'll go over some of this with you. Now, this is something that I installed that I had to figure out. It's just a dovetail piece that goes on the front, which the ASI Air will mount to. Okay, so that's going to go there, but we're going to set this aside for a minute. We'll put it right over here with the SAI Air. And as far as the telescope goes, I put this handle on here because we're going to mount the guide scope to the top of it to bring more weight forward. Here's the lens cover. The lens is inside. There's the shade. So we'll leave this on for right now. This is what the ASI Air would go on, or your guide scope, but that's just a place to put things. Here's your focusing knobs. And then this telescope comes with a cover, but it's also, you can take this out and put in your eyepieces for your telescope. And so then you can, visually look at things as well. So this is the SV Bony 0.08 reducer and flattener. That's going to go on the back of here. So let's get going to putting all of this together. So we're going to put it on the mount. This dovetail fits inside here. It'll slide in like so. And for right now, we'll just kind of get it close, and we'll tighten it up on the side with these knobs. Okay, so it's secure. We'll back it off. There's a cap on here that we can take off. This is gross focus and fine focus here for when you want to get it nailed just right. This is for big movements here. Okay, so let's take this back part off where you can put the eyepieces. We aren't going to use that. We only use this for eyepieces and a lens cap, so we'll put that in the bag. And then here's our reducer and flattener that screws right on to the back. We'll get that in. Take off the caps. We've got those. Set that there. Now then, as far as our back focus goes, here's the picture. So this is the reducer, and then we're going to have 55 millimeters of back focus there. So how we're going to do that is with these little extension tube pieces and our camera. All right, so we'll get our stuff down here. So we have our camera. We'll set that aside for a sec. We have our filter holder, and it's a 2-inch filter. And the way these go in, and I'll just show you, this would be the L-Quad Enhance filter that goes inside there. Now, all we have to do is take this little guy out, and then we screw it right into here. There's some threads on the side. You screw it in there, you get it in there, and then it just drops right into the filter drawer. I always like doing this part last in case if this thing is upside down and falls out, and then there's a $170 whoopsie. Okay, so let's put this thing on, and let's see. There's a couple of different ways. We can do that one. That's $21 and $20. So it comes with different rings, and we try and achieve 55 the best we can. So let's do this. Let's put the filter drawer here. We're going to push pause for just a second because I want to see, usually you want to put your filter drawer as close to the camera as you can, and I'm going to see what spacers we have to achieve that. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we go, Rudd. So on this particular one, the filter wheel will be our next one just because as far as threads go and the way I can get it on there. So we'll put our filter holder on there like that. Oh, and then we'll put, so which is 20 millimeters, and then our next one is 21, so that's really 41, and then the back space between here is between 14 and 15, so that gets us really close to 55. And we'll put that on there, and there you go. So then the camera is attached to the telescope. Back here on the back, so this should, one thing you'll kind of need to see is that now it's kind of straight up and down. Your sensor goes this way, so if it's this way, then the sensor is kind of at a 45, but it's how you want to angle your target. I always start off with this straight up and down. All right, so up here is a knob on top where you can loosen to rotate, and then you tighten it up when you get it where you want it. So I'll put it back at 90 degrees there, and then I'll tighten that up. All right, so we're set there. Now then, I'm going to do the ASI air, and I'll put, now on this, so this is normally for like your mead, this thing would go on the top, like right about there, you know, on the side. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this up on the front as far as weight goes. On here, I have the camera, so your camera and your EQ mod goes into, I believe these are USB 2, and then there's USB 3 for the guiding. I might have that wrong, but it'll tell you which ones to put them on. I just labeled them so I don't have to think about it. But for this installation, I need to take off this dovetail, and I need to mount it to this thing here. So I'll show you how you do that. We'll come back in a minute.
Okay.
All right, so this mount is gonna, so I took off this part here, and I'm gonna mount it like that. So I'll put these screws in, or just put the screws back in, and then screw it on. Whoops. Okay, there's that one. Put the other one on. And yours will stay all set up just like this when you're using this smaller telescope. When you put this on your mead, you won't use this part. So this is going to slide on here, so we'll back this off, and I put some tape here. You'll see where it just adds a little bit more friction to it. And I'm going to turn this around like so. So the power and antenna are here, and I think that's how I had it before. We'll check it out to make sure, but we'll maybe put this where it's a little bit forward, where there's room in back. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the antenna on before I mount that. The antenna is here somewhere. Oh, here it is. All right, the antenna just screws on the back like so. While I have it there, I can put the power cord extension. I have one of these extensions where I'll mount that, just put that like so, and then we'll mount it back here. All right, so that's all in. We'll bring this around front like so, just so it doesn't pull it out, and then as you can see, the antenna is here on the side. All right, so we have that on. Okay, now we'll connect the camera, and as you remember from back under here, I know that the camera goes onto these blue ones, so that will go like so, and I think I did this differently last time. We're going to pause for just a second.
Okay.
All right. This is exactly how a night goes, where you're doing
Exactly.
it over and over.
Exactly.
It doesn't always go smooth. So start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and by nighttime, you'll be all ready to go. All right. So we've got different cables here. This red one is for your camera, and so we're going to put that in the camera slot like that. And then the EQ mod cable is this gray one. Now, this is the one that has like the little phone connection, actually like an Ethernet. That's what's going to go in the mount to drive the mount. So you'll hear people talk about cable management, and it's a real thing, because you'll have cables everywhere that you don't know what to do and you don't want it to pull out. But that's the EQ mod cable. The next one is the guiding one, which also goes into the mount, and we'll connect that now before we put this thing on. So the guide goes right in there. Okay, now then, with that on, I'm going to try and put it where the antenna is in the front and see if I have enough room. Probably not. See how the cables rub against there? So I'm going to turn it around again like I had it before, and do it this way. So I've got the antenna out there. That looks good. And then all the cables are everywhere. So we'll kind of hook this up one at a time. So let's hook up the camera, which is the red one, like here. And we'll give ourselves a little bit more room. Pull out one of those. Okay. Bring it around back. Like that. And it goes right into the back of the camera. Like that. There we go. Okay. I'm going to give it some more room here. Okay. That's that. The second one is the EQ mod cable. That's going to come down and connect right where it says hand controller. That plugs in right there. And then our next one is our guiding. So I need to connect our guider. So here's the guide scope. I always keep the caps on everything while I'm getting everything set up, but we'll put this up here. Get it ready. Lock it down. That all looks good. I'll take out the back cup. And this is your guide camera, the little one. It's got a cap on there. The sensor is real tiny on the inside. But here's the black piece of tape that I put on that I know where the focus is. So this is, you can focus it by turning this knob, which moves it in and out, or you can secure this, put a piece of tape there once you figure out what your focus is, and then just slide your camera right in there. And then this goes just where the connections are straight up and down. So I put it where the tape is, just a little bit like that. Tighten this little wheel over here. And then this power from the ASI air can be plugged in right there. Okay, coming back. So with the guider, you'll have another phone cable type that plugs into, it says auto guiding here on the mount. That gets plugged in there. And then we'll bring this around and plug the other part into the guide scope. All right, that's all set right there. Now we're gonna plug in, this is the power for the ASI air, which is up there in front. So I already put the extension cable down here. I already attached that. I will connect that, and you can connect this whatever way you want to make sure it doesn't come unconnected or whatever. You can put them together, tie them in a knot. And then I'm going to plug it into the jackery down here, like so. And then your mount is going to have a power supply as well. That gets plugged in to the power, the DC 12 volt. And then the other end goes down here into the cigarette lighter part of that. So we'll turn on both of those like so. And that is all ready. So the ASI air has power, and the camera has power, and then really the only thing left is I'm going to extend the tube outward. And I'm going to put on our dew heater. The dew heater, this particular one, is a USB, and it has a heat strap. And this just goes around like so. And then you can put this where it faces down and out of the way, whatever you like. When I'm outside, I usually put the jackery on some kind of a little table that holds it up. So, and I plug the heater into the USB port right there. So it's all set to go. So really, it looks like a mess, but it's all really set up and ready to go. Then you can follow your instructions on workflow for turning it on and getting it focused. But the very first thing that you'll do now is you need to balance everything. So keep the antenna out of the way there. So we're going to balance it, and then we can balance it side to side. Make sure the cords are out of the way. And it should, I've got this pretty darn close to where, you know, it doesn't go one way or the other. If this was way out this way, it would do that. And we don't want that. So we want it to where it's more balanced side to side. So that looks good. Then we'll check the other side. Get the cables out of the way. And that looks all right. Try that again, going the other way. Yep. So it goes either way. There's some tension there. I'm not sure why there's tension in that. It's kind of weird. But it looks pretty balanced this way. Now, we'll bring that back to 0, the center line. We'll tighten up our little knob here so it locks it in place. And then we'll check it the other way. So how it balances like this. So as you can see, we need, it's kind of camera heavy, so we need to move everything to the front a little bit with these knobs. So now that you have everything on here, you got to be really careful of moving. Now, these knobs back here may interfere, so I'm going to, let's try this.
Something fell.
Oh, that was the filter drawer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll move this up a little bit. And so the filter drawer popped out, and that's why I don't put my filters in until the very last bit. So this looks pretty good. It's almost like it's a little bit nose heavy now. So I'll bring it back just a little ways. A little bit more. Tighten it up. You want to make sure they're all tight so it's not bad. It's pretty good. Let's flip it all the way over the other way. And this is where cable management is important. I'm going to grab a little chair for the battery. Actually, a little box. Let's set the battery on. There we go. And then we'll check this side. So this side, it's a little camera heavy. So I'm going to move it up again. Loosen a little bit. Move it up. Tighten everything. Try it. What I can also do too is I can loosen the ASI air up here and bring it forward a little bit more and keep it out of the way of the antenna. Lock it up there. And this looks good. So it doesn't go one way or the other. It seems balanced. Try the other way. Looks good. All right. So now that it's balanced, I can lock that. So we have, again, we've got balance from side to side and balance as far as declination goes, like so. Then you can start your focusing process. Focus on a long way away and then use your gross focus to go in and out. And find a spot that's pretty close and then you're good. And then really you start turning everything on. Then you can turn on your mount and turn on your ASI air up here until it beeps, and then you can refer to that other video on turning everything on and getting it all ready to go. Lastly, last but not least, we should do this first too. There's a level bubble right here, and this bubble, you need to make sure that the mount is level before you start stuff. Once you get it like this, and you're pointed to the north, so right down here, we want to make sure that this points due north, and then we're going to take off this cap on the front right here. We're going to take this cap off here, and then we're going to remove the back lens cap here. And then then you're going to polar align it. So you look in through here, through the scope, and then it goes out, you look through the other end. And I'll refer you to polar alignment. I'll send you a video on that and how that works. So hopefully this should be kind of a good start for you. I'm sure I probably messed up something somewhere, but anyway, hope it helps. Peace. Okay, dude, at the end of that, when I thought I was all done and I said I probably missed something, I did. You have to run a power cord to the camera. So this big red one is actually the information from how it transfers all the images and stuff like that. That's why it's so big. But the power cord here is another one. I can plug it into the ASI air, and the way I did this, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll see how to utilize these, but you can use these for power too. So we'll go back there, and then this plugs into the back of the camera. So now, yes, now I have everything hooked up, and you can see, here's the other thing, you can see how many cables you have, and it'll be good to just wrap everything up, tuck them away, out of the way. Just make sure that there's enough room for your scope to slew and turn and all that stuff. So it'll, let me open that up, open this up, so it'll go like this and go like this without any kind of cord hinge points, but that's really what you want. I think I got it all this time. Okay? See you.